to Mrs.Melancholy. I'm your host, Michelle.
This is Ellie.
And this is V.
And today I'm here to tell you about an unsolved mystery that happened in 1995 in Toronto.
All right. I was alive when this happened. Sorry, you got me right away.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Hopefully I'll have our viewers like that as well.
Heck
Or
yes.
listeners.
Can't see us, not yet.
Not yet.
How are you guys?
We're okay.
Doing okay. You know, it is what it is.
The holidays are creeping in,
They surely are.
and I'm starting to stress about it. But I'm just trying
I
to
bet.
enjoy my pretty treat.
At least you're done all of your holiday shopping, which is far more than I can say.
Yeah, I'm just going to deal with those emotions and not the stress of having to like buy gifts and stuff.
Yeah.
And I have all of my holiday baking planned out so that when I do get stressed, I just go into the kitchen, put on one of my favorite podcasts, have my girls Ash and Elena in my ear to keep me company and just bake,
Yes, girl.
you know?
And
Absolutely.
She bakes amazing.
You know, I went for a
thanks.
sleepover the other day and she literally whipped up the best cookies out of like nothing. She basically had no
Where's
ingredients.
my
so she's
order
just like,
of these baked cookies? That's not cool.
I'm bringing for our friends miss. I'm gonna make a Yule log and it's gluten free.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, my recipe is just gluten free. It's an egg cake.
We are doing Friendsmas on December 13th this year,
Which is a Friday.
which is Friday. So you know we're going to watch some Friday the 13th.
Obviously.
Obviously.
One would call it
yes.
maybe a nightmare before Christmas.
Okay. I think I'm ready to get into my story. What do you guys think? Are you ready?
I'm
ready
ready.
to
I'm
hear it?
buckling in.
Yes.
I'm so
please.
excited for your reaction.
What happened when I was 2? Let's go.
Let's go.
I was 3.
Oh my God.
And I'm the old fart.
Okay. Y'all ready?
Y'all ready for this?
Na-na-na. All right. So, what if I told you a man was found in the heart of Toronto wearing an eerie, handcrafted death mask, and no one knows who he is, how he got there, or why?
What the fuck?
Wait,
This
what?
is the story of one of the city's most haunting unsolved mysteries, the 1995 Toronto death mask case.
Dude.
Stop.
I'm fucking ready.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Wait. Just to clarify, he had a mask?
Yeah, we'll get into it. I'll explain all about the death
my God,
mask.
I'm ready
Anyway,
for this.
okay. So back in 95 when we were all babies,
Children.
Toronto, of course, was a bustling metropolis filled with stories of vibrant growth and hidden shadows. But there is one chilling mystery that really stands out above the rest. In a secluded laneway near downtown, the body of an unidentified man was discovered. But this wasn't just a tragic case of an unknown victim. He was found wearing something called a death mask, an item that hinted at something far more sinister and ritualistic. Picture this: a quiet, nondescript alleyway. Police arrive to find the victim lying still, no signs of a struggle, his face covered by an unsettlingly realistic mask. This mask wasn't something you'd find in a costume shop. It was detailed, lifelike, as though it had been made specifically for this moment.
That's fucked.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm thinking Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'm getting there, getting
let's
closer.
go.
Oh my goodness.
Damn. Some Ed Gein kind of shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
and very creepy.
very.
Okay, so the big question is, who is the victim? Of course. Was he a lone traveler passing through the city? A recluse hiding from a life he could no longer face? Or was he something else entirely? A shadow in plain sight, chosen by an unknown hand, drawn into the depths of something too vast, too dark for us to comprehend?
Oh my goodness, I'm scared.
You should be.
I'm excited. Intrigued.
Obvious theories quickly swirled. Could this be the work of a cult? Historically, death masks have been used in rituals to symbolize transition, reverence, or even control over a spirit. Investigators explored potential links to occult communities, performance art groups, and underground organizations, but nothing concrete ever emerged. The mask itself became a symbol of the unknown. Death masks have a fascinating and eerie history across various cultures. serving purposes that range from honoring the dead to warding off spirits. In ancient society, they were often crafted to preserve the features of the deceased, immortalizing them in a tangible form. These masks were particularly prominent in ancient Egypt, where pharaohs were entombed with elaborate death masks, such as the iconic mask of King Tut.
Oh, dang. My dad's going to love that shit.
We love King Tut. An icon. A legend. Such masks symbolize their divine status and were believed to protect their souls on their journey to the afterlife. In modern times, however, the death mask has taken on a more
That's right.
and sinister connotation. While early examples were tied to reverence and ritual, modern interpretations often associated them with mystery, secrecy, and even horror. The process of creating a death mask, molding the face of someone recently deceased, is an act both intimate and unsettling.
Yeah, to say the least. Unsettling, to say the least.
Yeah, it was a realistic depiction of the man's face, which was meant to kind of preserve him in time.
Oh, fuck.
And it's so strange that he ended up in an alleyway in downtown Toronto.
Like, how the fuck did he get there?
And why was he placed there?
And why the mask?
Exactly.
Oh,
Why the mask?
damn. What was the mask made out of?
So it wasn't made out of cheap materials. I would assume it was made out of some sort of wax or clay.
Yeah.
As it's easy to use to kind of mold into the shape. I know that like death masks kind of varied in like medieval times where they would just like paint eyes on stones and like lay them onto your face, which kind of like had your eyes eternally open.
Yeah.
Which is creepy in itself.
Very creepy, but like
No,
I kind of love that imagery.
Yeah, I love the imagery as well.
And they tend to do death masks like for royalty. Like,
Yes.
I remember going through a couple of museums in the UK and they had quite a few. Like, I think they had like Mary and
Queen of
Victoria.
Scots?
Yeah, I think it was Victoria. Actually, no, it was Victoria's face.
Yeah.
And a couple other ones. And it's kind of creepy because that's their last, like, I know this sounds really weird to say, but it's kind of like their last expression.
Yeah.
Because you see what they looked like just before, you know, they put them, you know, in a tomb or something like that. So
Yeah,
it's kind of,
that's so creepy.
Well, and it's also like so nuanced because I'm
Yeah.
also like, I'm sure it also captured like the emotions of like what they were feeling at the time.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
It's weird.
It is weird. And like Michelle was saying, like King Tut, which I have to say this for my dad's sake or else he'll kill me. Tut is short for Tutankhamun.
Thank you. I couldn't pronounce it, so I short for
Did you actually? Yeah, it's Tutankhamun. My dad did like his master's like thesis on Tutankhamun.
That's sick. I love King Tut.
So does my dad.
Nice.
I would love to go to Egypt.
Yo,
That is
my
on the
dad
same-
does tours in Egypt. So he
Yes.
takes tour groups in Egypt, I think like 3 times a year.
Where's our invite?
Tell me about it, Dad. François.
Let's go.
The
Let's go to
Frenchest
Egypt.
man.
But they do a lot of that stuff too, like for even like in the Vatican and stuff like that. They definitely do that with like the popes. And, like,
Absolutely.
the
It is
saints.
ritualistic. It
Yeah.
is widely observed under a lot of different religions,
Yeah, I remember.
surprisingly.
Yeah.
There was one story about a little girl. Like the dad did not like he wanted to preserve her,
Yeah.
so they created a whole like body of it. Like they just created this like layer on top.
I've
And,
heard
like-
of people doing some really crazy shit because they didn't want to let go of their loved ones.
Yeah.
And I
It's
see
really
that.
Which could be a
sad.
whole other episode in itself.
And it should be.
episode.
That is another episode. It's creepy, but it's also
As news of the case spread, so did speculation. Some believe the man was part of a secret society, his death a ritual offering. Others thought it was performance art taken to a fatal extreme.
dang.
And then there were whispers of darker forces at play, forces that defied explanation. Naturally, the case grew widespread media attention and inevitably became the subject of urban legends. Theories ranged from human sacrifice to elaborate pranks gone wrong, But as days turned into months and years, the trail went cold.
Wow.
The masked man became a phantom figure, haunting Toronto's underbelly. Some claim to have seen the mask's likeness, its hollow eyes staring out from alleyways. Others said the laneway where he was found now carried an unnatural chill, as if the air itself remembered the tragedy.
Oh man.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's nothing else that happened after this?
Yeah, the lack of answers leaves behind a chilling enigma, to say the least. Was the mask something he wore willingly? A symbol of his own design? Or was it a final act of power placed upon him as a message? A warning, perhaps, from forces that lurk beyond what we dare to imagine.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That's crazy.
I know.
Okay, we need to. Toronto police, can we reopen this?
I know. Can we
I
reopen
need
it?
answers.
I know we need to
But
reopen
it doesn't make any sense because there was nothing after that and before. So it could be a one-off, or it could be a serial killer that like to like dabble on other things.
It could have been a one-off. I
Yeah.
think it might have been a one-off killer.
Yeah.
And maybe instead of going the serial killer route, he actually felt guilt. So he
Maybe.
wanted to preserve his victim,
Maybe
but he didn't know what to do with his victim.
that would make
So he
more
dumped him in
sense.
an alleyway.
Oh shit.
And they
that makes sense.
It does make sense.
That makes sense because
yeah.
obviously, like that's the second location. Like,
Yeah.
the person wasn't killed at that location.
No.
It's
No.
the second location they were brought to. There's no other evidence
Yeah.
there.
Exactly.
and it's most likely a homeless person if you think about it.
It could be. It also could be a high society person. You never
you never
really
know.
know.
It's true.
Honestly, the reports that I read didn't say anything about their status.
Yeah. Well, they
yeah.
can definitely do what's it called?
Genealogy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% nowadays.
Yeah.
And that could, I think that's the big thing right now.
They should definitely reopen it because they say that he didn't have any ID. His fingerprints weren't in the database. Nothing.
Weird.
I'm sure now they could figure out who he was.
With like mitochondrial DNA, even.
dental
Yeah.
records.
Damn.
I wonder where he's buried.
I have no idea.
He's in an unknown grave.
I
So to
know.
speak.
Unmarked, yeah.
Honestly, it's been nearly 3 decades. And
Am I that old?
That's not old. 30's not old.
We're in our 30s, girl. 30, flirty, and thriving.
There we go.
So, like I was saying, it's been nearly 3 decades, and the death mask case remains shrouded in silence.
That is crazy. So it must be it probably is not closed. It's probably an open case if you think about it.
It's been closed.
Oh, it's closed.
It's unsolved. It's closed. Yeah.
No, reopen this cold case, please. We
Yeah,
gotta like do some investigative journalism on
I'm
this.
down like that. Come on, we can help so many cases
Some, like
nowadays.
some armchair
Yeah.
expert
Armchair detective.
over here. Armchair detective.
Yeah, like in Don't Fuck with Cats.
Yes.
Yes.
Yo, don't fuck. We gotta do an episode about Luca Magnotta.
Oh my
Oh,
God. I can't even talk
God.
about that documentary.
The documentary was really rough to watch.
Yeah.
I didn't need to see all of the visuals that Netflix put up.
Yeah.
No.
But no, it's true. Also, on the topic of don't F with cats, that guy that could not pronounce Etobicoke
Oh my God.
drive
My
me
lord.
bonkers.
I know.
You say that you're like such an intense, like, oh, I can find out any information. You just couldn't go on like the Google
How do you
search
even
and
say it like
how to
Etobicoke?
say.
I don't even know.
I don't know. Like, I can understand someone not from the area pronouncing it Etobicoke because that's
Yeah.
how it's spelled.
Yeah.
And, like, that's fine. But, like, just botched it so hard.
Yeah, it's also an Aboriginal word. Like, get into it.
Get into it.
It's not that hard, guys.
No.
No.
Go on Google. It actually tells you how to say it.
The land acknowledgements, because we're, like, on Anishinaabe territory. Like,
Yeah.
everybody, like, just come on. Get with the times.
It's not so hard.
Exactly. Exactly.
So the moral of the story is we need to have this case reopened.
Yes.
So we can figure it out and maybe we can solve this case.
Yeah, is it an elite?
Absolutely.
A
Yeah.
member of the elite who is sacrificed? Was it an unhoused man? Like, I would like to know.
Yeah. Is it a
Absolutely.
one-off or is there multiple?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Absolutely.
we also
And the mask itself has become a symbol of the unknowable. It's like a ghostly artifact of life and death that just defies explanation.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, death itself defies explanation.
His death, especially.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No clues, nothing at all.
Wait, did they mention if he was clothed?
Yeah, I believe he was clothed and he had the mask on as well.
That's so weird.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
And just laying there, like, that's just such an odd thing to see.
Are there crime scene photos?
I didn't look them up, but you are more than welcome to.
Though.
I'm just gonna finish off this little
Yeah.
story now, and we can go into further conversation about it if you guys want. Basically, as we've been exploring this chilling tale, we're kind of left to wonder, obviously, how can someone disappear so completely in a city so alive? Is it possible the mask was more than a mere object? Was it a calling card from a world just out of reach, where mysteries like this one are born and never solved? Frozen in its lifelike gaze, the mask has become more than a mere object. And as we delve into this chilling tale, it forces us to confront those unsettling questions. This isn't just a story about a man found in an alleyway. It's a doorway to the unknown, a tale where the truth feels just out of reach, and where the only uncertainty is that the mask hides more than a face. It conceals a secret we may never be ready to uncover. So how does someone completely vanish in a city as populated as Toronto? Like, how do we not know who they are? Or is it because the city is so densely populated?
It's 100% because the city is so densely populated.
But in 1995, was it still the same?
Let me look that up. Let me
I
Google
think
that real
back
quick.
then,
Because I don't know. I was only 3.
I think back then though is that a lot of people, it's not as easy to find people nowadays as it was back then. I think
True.
It's such a. I know it's only in the 90s, but it's a different time era.
Y'all. So the population of Toronto doubled between 1991 and 1995. In 1991, it was 2,275,771. In 1995, it was over 4 million.
So that answers
That
your
is
case.
wild.
That's a lot,
And there's
y'all.
probably so many people that they didn't have documented in the city as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah,
course.
100%.
This guy probably got mixed up in some bad stuff.
Or they could have been taken.
They could have been taken.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, it could have been a one-off killing.
Yeah, you never know.
You
Someone
never
had
know.
fun.
And in case you're wondering, population of Toronto in 2024 is 6,500,000 roughly.
That's a huge difference if you think about it, from the 2 to 4 and then from 4 to 6.
But it took a lot longer for it to double, like to add another 2 million
Yeah.
from 4
Yeah.
to 6.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
I know. It took 3 years to double the population of this city in the early 90s.
But not as much in comparison from the 3 decades.
No, it took 2 whole decades to add another 2 million.
That's crazy if you
Yeah.
think about that.
Yeah, that's wild.
But still, like if the population suddenly doubled in 1995,
Yeah.
then there was a lot of people who were in the city, maybe not necessarily documented, probably a lot of unhoused folks.
Yeah.
Like it would make sense that someone could just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I honestly think it would still be the same today.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many cases now still with no information.
Exactly. There's so many like urban legends in Toronto, like the Church Street serial killer.
I was gonna say we gotta do it. I was literally
Yes.
about to bring that up after we were talking about Luca.
That's not much of an urban legend. That's actually facts.
That's like, oh Jesus. My glasses just knocked the microphone. I'm sorry. No, that's fact. That's they're convicted.
Yeah.
We're gonna we got to do an episode about Bruce McArthur.
Yeah, that was a scary time in
Oh,
That
Toronto.
was a
one.
fucking scary. I was old enough to fucking remember
Me
that.
too.
Jesus.
Me too.
Yep, that one's a bad one.
Yeah.
And he put them in pots.
What?
You're right. We'll get to it in the episode.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know that much about it, so the
Oh.
Potts reference is lost on me.
Oh, you'll
You're
find out.
You're like, my husband's last name is Potts.
That's about all I got. So why are unsolved mysteries so captivating? Do we want answers, or is it the mystery itself? The appeal?
I think it's the unknown.
Well, and there's the appeal of the unknown and the appeal of wanting to figure out the unknown.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think it's twofold.
Yeah. And almost like whenever I see like Netflix docuseries that have like a call to action for people to submit tips or whatever.
Yeah.
Hashtag unsolved mysteries.
Exactly.
The latest season was bullshit.
Yes.
I didn't even watch it, honestly. It's almost too dramatized for me.
Yeah.
The first episode,
The first season was good.
so the first season of the revamp was good. All of the old, like in the
Yeah.
80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
The best.
But the most recent season that came out in October on Netflix, I thought was just like, because the first episode was an unsolved true crime, an unsolved murder of two people. And then the rest of it was like, ooh, is it a spooky alien? And I'm like,
yeah.
that's kind of like undercutting, insulting, and doing a disservice to the two people from the first episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, yes, it's an unsolved mystery. Throw in a fun, alien sighting, or throw in a fun, like, here and there.
I feel like you should have
Yeah.
a theme, though. Like, if you're going to
Yeah.
go in with a theme of this is all true crime, this is all alien documentation, this is
exactly.
all murder. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
But totally, like, if season 4 was like, it's spooky season, we're just going to do spooky fun things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then great. But they started it off with a really tragic story and a call to action.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the season was like spooky things. And I'm like, then just make it a spooky things season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's still the one that still haunts me. There's like two. It was the first season with the guy that was found in the field.
Yeah.
And Crime Junkie covered it.
Yes.
And then the next one is the Canadian girl, the one out in, I think it's Alberta or something. This was last season.
Oh, was it the one with the nighttime camera of her like walking?
No,
in
no,
the
no.
garage?
I did see
No.
that one.
That one gets me.
Yeah.
That one was covered too, I think, from, I forgot who covered it. Maybe it was Crime Junkie too or someone else. But anyways, no, the one was an actual Canadian girl. She, something to do with her and her boyfriend. They got into a fight and he stormed out, and then she stayed for the weekend, and he came home and he found her in the basement and blood was everywhere.
Yeah. I remember that one
And
now.
like the detective was kind of like saying like, oh, it could have been her fault. She must have like slipped down the
Oh, yeah.
stairs and like caused all this blood to go everywhere. And it's like, what? Are you kidding me? So
In
like,
what world?
I'm like,
Michael Patterson, in what world?
yeah. And I remember watching
Peterson?
it and I was like, this is just bonkers. No, there's got to be more to this story than anything. And like, I get frustrated when I hear they lost the evidence or they misplaced things or things have like disappeared. I'm like, how does that
Or-
one thing go?
Yeah.
Like in Monsters. Did you watch it? The Eric and Lyle Menendez.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
But it got
The
a lot of-
dramatization.
yes.
Yep.
It
So
got a
I
lot
watched
of
it.
flack about it though.
Yeah, I watched it as well. And basically, they called the cops. They killed their parents. They called the cops to say that it wasn't them and somebody had killed their parents. They thought it was mafia, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, they had like shotgun shells and shit, like the guns in their car. And
It was
they
literally in their fucking trunks, and they didn't, when they went to search the house, they didn't search the fucking cars.
They didn't
Yeah.
search the car. They didn't swab their hands for shotgun residue. They didn't
No.
do anything. Like, that is bad police work.
There's so many
And
cases
it's
like
also
that.
biased. It's also biased because they were wealthy.
Yeah. There's so many cases like that, and then there's also cases that for the indigenous women and stuff, like so many
Yes.
cases
Oh, my God.
that I've listened to, and that just gets brushed away like
It's horrible.
nothing.
Yeah.
There was one case that I forgot the woman's name because I feel like I should know this, but just some of the stuff that like they had to, it's a little bit of, like, my mind is a little bit off of it because it's been a while since I heard it, but I remember distinctly like the cop forced the parents to like do a cremation when they said no, we don't want to. And there was evidence that could have been on her, and unfortunately she was cremated. And it's just like, that is heartbreaking. Like, all you want is to, it doesn't matter who you are, it's all comes down to, it's your child. You want to make sure she's home and safe, but at the same time there's lurkers out there that will do something. And unfortunately, these poor women who are getting like sideswiped by all this and not getting notice, it's heartbreaking. Yeah. So my heart goes out to the Indigenous women.
Absolutely. They are intentionally being sort of slipped through the cracks of society.
Yeah. And it's actually, you know what? It's eye-opening because I remember not knowing much about it, but finding out and listening to more crime stories and unsolved cases and being like kind of stunned because I was like, wow, I'm not trying to be, you know, ignorant, but at the same time, like, you don't know. And when you hear all the stories, it's sad.
Well, and you don't know because that information is intentionally
withheld.
Like,
that's crazy.
If you just think about over the past couple of years with all of the residential schools, and all of the buried students and the bodies that have been found in the like the grounds of those old schools, it's horrendous.
It's terrible
out there. Also, sorry, you mentioned the little girl, and it just made me think of the new JonBenet Ramsey documentary on Netflix. Have you watched it yet?
Yes.
It yet?
We obviously haven't watched it yet because we're gonna watch it together.
Okay,
I'm really
and
sorry.
we're gonna talk about it on the pod.
Okay, I'm really sorry. I couldn't help myself. I have opinions and I don't know if I have theories, but I definitely have opinions.
Did you watch it?
Of course.
No.
I have watched. Okay, look, listen.
I haven't watched it yet.
Listen, I can't help myself when it comes to true crime.
Yeah.
And certain cases. Like, the second anything new comes out about JonBenet or Madeleine McCann, like, I'm in.
True.
I'm watching it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll rewatch it, obviously. I've also watched, like, all of the docs and
Me
listened
too.
to all of the episodes.
That's fair. Well, you're very informed for our reaction video to it then.
I'm ready.
Okay.
It's
Fantastic.
crazy though because like that I'm so attached to JonBenet so much because my birthday is August the 5th. Her birthday was August the 6th. We're both the same age. We were both beauty pageant queens. Like, we had the exact same polar, like, we literally had a carbon copy life. Like, we both had Beauty and the Beast blankets and like
She
we
did.
were princesses.
Yep.
And then when my mom found out about the story, because I remember we were like, I think it was like we were in Disney or something like that. We're heading back, and she did not want me to continue on, like,
With the beauty pageants?
Yeah, I
That's
stopped.
fucking fair, though. Kudos to your mom.
Yeah.
I can, for my sake, I've never experienced anything happen to me. Like, I did it when I was like from 1 year old up to like five. So I did it for multiple years.
Yeah.
I never experienced anything. You know, there's other people that have. I know that it was very, you know, you had to dress up. You had to do all these like little moves. I remember they would ask me like weird questions for a little girl, which is
It's
kind of
very
weird.
exploitative.
Yeah, big time. And I, you know, I was like her in sense of I had the big cute dresses and everything and big hair and whatnot. So
Well, yeah, and you're a gorgeous little kid.
Yeah, truly.
I don't know what happened
Gorgeous
now,
adult.
but okay.
You're just gorgeous, darling.
You're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like a
Stunner.
death
Absolute
mask for
stunner.
you. Because you're
Ooh.
such a stunner.
Can you please have a death mask for me?
Yo,
I'm going to start making it right now.
I also want one.
Yes.
Same.
But we have to have like funny faces. I don't want like straight up face. I want
That's
like
fair.
I
Because
want-
if somebody ever finds them, we want to know that we want them to know it wasn't ritualistic
Yeah.
and
not like
sadistic.
Not like this guy.
not like this guy. Unfortunately, you know, I think it's at the end of the day we all still want to know the unknown. No matter what.
It's the why.
It's the why.
Absolutely. It is the why.
Same
and I
with-
think that's what it comes back to with the death mask case.
Yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
why?
That's
why
why
did
it's
he
so
do this?
intriguing.
Why was there a mask?
Why, like, why did somebody go through the time and effort to craft this for
Yeah.
somebody to create their likeness, all just to dump them into an alleyway.
Yeah.
It seems very weird.
It's very oxymoronic. Like, it's like, oh, I want to preserve you, but here you are in this nondescript alleyway where you may or
Exactly.
may not be found.
And obviously it's going to make a statement.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't get more attention.
I'm surprised I didn't know about this until this
I
moment.
know. That's surprising.
Jesus.
I know. There's actually a good amount of unsolved Toronto crimes. So we're definitely going to explore that more in future episodes. We love our unsolved mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
And yes.
But not the most recent season on Netflix.
no.
no,
We're not referencing that show.
we're not happy.
Alrighty, guys. We'll be back next time with another scariest in story.
If you liked our show, make sure to share.
Absolutely. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.